Dorsey offered.
I'll do it.
Boone pretended not to hear the old soldier grunt as his arthritic knee crackled. "No need," he said. "You climbed your share of these sandhills last summer with General Crook." The older man swore. "I may be older than you, Sergeant Boone, but I ain't used up yet. Not by a long shot. I'll see you in your grave and still climb 1,000 more hills. And don't you think I can't." Nathan shrugged. "Go on up, then." He turned back toward the door. "I just thought you could check inside and see what you think. It'd help to know if this was a lone squatter or a family." He took a deep breath. "I'm thinking just a lone squatter. But if there's women and children involved—" Mollified, Dorsey shrugged. "All right, then." He took the reins of Nathan's horse. "Don't get your head shot off up there. We think they're gone, but I know. Nathan nodded. "Just where you don't see any Indians, that's where the most of them are." "And where'd you learn that?" Dorsey asked, nodding. "From some old coot named Emmett Dorsey. Stubborn old guy. Earned a commission in the recent unpleasantness a few years back. Then stepped back into the ranks so he could stay in the army and fight another war out here." "The man's a darned fool," Dorsey said, grinning. "You got that right." Nathan headed around the side of the dugout and scrambled up the blackened hillside. Near the top, the smell of scorched earth was overpowered by another stench. Sweat broke out across his forehead. "No women, no children, please." He pulled his red kerchief up over his nose and crept forward, willing himself to keep going. He swallowed the knot in his throat and sent it down to his gut, where it wreaked havoc with his innards. He tasted bile. "Breathe. Steady. Breathe. Steady. Breathe." Beneath the kerchief, he opened his mouth. It helped a little, but now it seemed he could even taste the putrid smell. He reached the crest of the hill and peered over the ridge. Thankful breakfast had been little enough and long enough ago that there wasn't much to give up. He gazed at the still form only a foot or so away. A man. That helped some. Unless Dorsey found evidence he'd missed inside the dugout. Before they could chase after a captive, they would have to go for help. He started to slide back down the hill, then stopped himself. "Do your job. Look around. Use what Dorsey taught you." His dark eyes scanned the horizon carefully. When he was certain he and Dorsey were the lone living humans in the area, he headed back down the hill. Toward the bottom, he lost his footing and finished the slide in a crazy tumble. Just as he scrambled to his feet, Dorsey stuck his head outside. "Squatter's dead," Nathan said, jerking his chin toward the top of the hill. He swallowed again to keep from gagging. "You find anything?" Dorsey shook his head. "You can relax, Sonny. Far as I can tell, there's no call to go tearing off after 'em. Leastways, not without first going back to camp and telling the cap'n what we found. No captive woman to save." He spit. "Most of that stuff is just fodder for dime novels." He grinned. "Guess you'll have to wait to be a hero." Boone took a deep breath. "I was just thinking how stupid I was going to look back at camp. Glad to know I didn't cost some poor kid's life because I didn't have a company of men ready to move out. I've been out here 10 years, and I had no idea of any whites setting up stakes. Whoever this was just made a bad decision, that's all. Probably thought that dog inside could defend him." The man held up a piece of beaded leather. "He tried, though. Got a piece of whoever killed him." My inspection got momentarily distracted. He held up a rattle. Fell out of the ceiling. Wasn't in a good mood. I didn't hear your gun go off, Nathan said, examining the rattle. Didn't need a gun. Dorsey spit. Held him down with my foot and... He made slicing motions with his hand. Sticking the rattle in his pocket, he motioned toward the side of the dugout. There's a pile of junk around there. I'll look for a shovel. He pointed at the well. Get yourself a drink. Clear the smell out of your innards. While Dorsey retrieved a shovel, Nathan led their 2 horses toward the well. When he hoisted the first bucket full of water up, a giant bullfrog came along for the ride. Nathan scooped the frog out and offered the water to the horses. The next bucketful was cleaner. After taking a long drink, he doused his face before tying the horses to the windlass and heading to the side of the dugout, where Dorsey had found his shovel. A broken rake was the only other tool in sight. But in the pile of rubble he saw pieces of a broken-up trunk. One piece of wood still had a remnant of paper glued to it, featuring an idyllic country scene. He closed his eyes. Just like Lily's. Rummaging through the wood pile, he found a few more pieces of what he was convinced had been a woman's trunk. He headed to where Dorsey had started to dig on the other side of the dugout. There's no more shovels, but I found this. He held up a piece of wood. Dorsey took it and stared down at the paper. You know what that is? Boone asked. Reckon I do, Dorsey said. He spit and thought for a moment. Shrugging, he handed the wood back to his sergeant. Could mean anything. He stabbed the earth with his shovel. Suppose you take your giant self inside the dugout and drag that dog's carcass out here. We might as well bury him with his master. While you're inside, look around some. Maybe I missed something. Nathan headed for the soddy, pausing just inside the door to let his eyes adjust to the dim light. 3 crates piled atop one another against the wall to his left must have served as a pantry. The crates were empty now, except for one lying on its side. To the left of the crates stood a small pot-bellied stove. Behind the stove, Nathan found the base of an oil lamp. There was a wick and a small amount of oil, but no chimney. He set it on the stove. A broad shelf protruding from the base of the right wall must have served as a bed, but no blankets or pillows were in sight. There was no other furniture. The remains of the rattlesnake Dorsey had killed had been tossed in a corner. Nathan shuddered. The thing must have been 3 feet long before it was beheaded and de-rattled. Dorsey was right. It was all typical of some lone bachelor's claim. Except for the massive white carcass stretched across the back wall. Nathan would have thought the animal asleep if it were not for the broad red gash that ran the length of its belly. So, old fella, he said, stroking the soft white fur, Dorsey was right. You died defending your master. Good boy. Maybe the white dog was the only friend this settler had. Or maybe he didn't have any friends at all. Maybe he was a heartless thief who deserved what happened to him. And maybe you think too much. Maybe you should just do your job. Get the burial done and hightail it back to camp. File your report, get a fresh mount, get after the Cheyenne. He bent down, grabbed the dog's front legs, and started to drag the carcass outside. What in... Nathan dropped the dog's front legs and stared at the dirt floor. His outstretched hand swept away a thin layer of dust to reveal a wood plank. Standing up slowly, he backed to the doorway. Dorsey? He said quietly, motioning for the other man. Dorsey looked at his sergeant's face, dropped the shovel, and came to his side. There's a trap